Spain. A land divided for nearly 800 years. But by the close of the 15th century, a singular year would reshape its destiny and the world itself. This is the story of kings and queens, of faith and conquest, of ambition and deception. The year is 1492. He was born Cristoforo Colombo, sometime between 1451 and 1455, in Genoa, Italy, a coastal city brimming with merchants, sailors, and dreams of fortune. His father, Domenico Colombo, was a modest wool weaver. His mother, Susanna Fontanarosa, kept the family home. Cristoforos could have easily followed the footsteps of his father. But despite having a modest upbringing, young Cristoforos was ambitious, teaching himself how to speak Latin, Spanish, and Portuguese, skills that would serve him well. At 14, he first took to the waters. By 25, he'd sailed beyond the Mediterranean, north to Iceland, south to the Gold Coast of Africa. He became a sailor, a mapmaker, and a dreamer. He devoured the works of Ptolemy and Marco Polo. He became convinced the world was smaller than it was, that Asia lay just west across the Atlantic, and he would be the one to reach it. While Columbus chased his dream of sailing to Asia, Spain itself was undergoing a transformation. Two crowns became one. The marriage of Ferdinand and Isabella united the kingdoms of Castile and Aragon, forming the foundation of modern Spain. It was a fragile union at first, but together they pursued a singular goal: to complete the Reconquista, to reclaim Iberia from Muslim rule. By 1484, Columbus sought patronage. He pitched his westward voyage to King John II of Portugal. But Portugal, already successful in sailing around Africa, saw little value in his unproven theory. Columbus believed Asia lay just 3,000 miles west. In reality, it was over 10,000. His numbers were flawed, wildly optimistic, but his conviction was unwavering. Penniless, widowed, and with a young son to care for, Columbus arrived in Spain. At the monastery of La Rabida, he found refuge and an audience with Queen Isabella. Isabella was intrigued, but cautious. Years passed. His proposal was reviewed and rejected. And yet, she did not dismiss him entirely. Fast forward 8 years and Christopher's luck would change. For nearly 800 years, Muslim kingdoms had held swathes of Iberia. By the late 15th century, only one remained: Granada. The siege of Granada lasted months, and on January 2nd, 1492, Emir Muhammad XII, known to Christians as Boabdil, surrendered the city. The last Muslim stronghold had fallen. Spain was now unified under one Christian banner. But Ferdinand and Isabella wanted more: purity of faith. Thus began the Spanish Inquisition. Spain was triumphant, and Isabella was ready to take a gamble. First founded in 1478, the Inquisition targeted conversos, Jews and Muslims who had converted to Christianity yet were accused of heresy. It was a brutal tool of religious and political control, fueled by fear and the fervor of the Reconquista, a tool that would come to reshape history. For years, Columbus had been turned away by monarch after monarch, his calculations dismissed, his demands deemed outrageous. But in April 1492, as Spain stood on the brink of greatness, Isabella and Ferdinand decided to take a gamble that would change the world forever. An agreement was sealed in the capitulations of Santa Fe, a contract between Columbus and the Catholic monarchs, outlining the terms of his audacious voyage across the uncharted Atlantic Ocean. Columbus would lead the expedition. He would recruit his own men, command the ships, and sail west in search of a new route to Asia, toward India, China, and the Spice Islands. It was his responsibility to brave the unknown, to gamble his life and reputation on this voyage. But Columbus was not without reward. The Catholic monarchs granted him lofty titles: Admiral of the Ocean Sea, Viceroy, and Governor-General over any lands he discovered. lands that would be claimed in the name of Castile and Aragon. Columbus was promised a tenth of all the riches, gold, silver, spices, and trade that these lands might yield. In addition, he gained the power to nominate administrators, shaping the future governance of these distant territories. In return, Isabella and Ferdinand pledged the support Columbus needed. Ships, crews, supplies, all underwritten by the royal treasury. And something more, their authority. Columbus would sail not as a rogue adventurer, but under the banner of Spain. Columbus was given 3 ships, a crew of 90, and royal backing. He set sail from Palos de la Frontera on August 3, 1492. The endless horizon stretched in every direction, an empty expanse of blue that offered no sign of land, no promise of salvation. Each sunrise brought more doubt, each sunset, more fear. The sailors, hardened men of the sea, now eyed Columbus with suspicion. Their voices, once filled with songs and laughter, had turned to low murmurs in the dark. They spoke of turning back, of forcing their captain's hand. Storm clouds gathered on the distant edge of the sky as if nature herself questioned their daring voyage. Every creak of the ship, every sudden gust of wind, sent shivers down spines. Had they sailed too far? Had they crossed into a place they were never meant to find? Weeks at sea, supplies dwindled, morale frayed. The crew whispered of mutiny. Columbus made a vow: 3 days, or they would return home. On the second night, they saw birds, floating vegetation, and then a cry. October 12th, 1492. They made landfall on an island the natives called Guanahani, today known as the Bahamas. The Arawak-speaking Taino greeted them peacefully, but Columbus saw them through another lens. He wrote in his journal that they would make good servants. Columbus sailed on to Cuba, then Hispaniola. Here on the island of Hispaniola, in an area in what is modern-day Haiti, he laid the foundation for Spain's first colony in the New World. La Navidad Fortress, a fragile outpost, filled with the hope of riches but destined for bloodshed. On January 16, 1493, Columbus returned to Spain triumphant. But the seeds of empire and exploitation had been sown.